As your branch song plays, please stand up and enjoy it. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Please be seated. There's a total U.S. missing in action from the Korean War still presently today is 7,910. 21 of which are from the state of Vermont, and their names will be read here shortly. There were 33,742 soldiers, airmen, Marines, and Navy killed in the Korean War, which back then was called a police action, and we all agree that is not a police action, it was the Korean War. I have a quote here. Those that were in the infantry will understand it. The rest of you can just laugh at it if you wish. This is from a battalion commander from the 23rd Regiment, 2nd Infantry Division in the Korean War. On the other side of every mountain was another mountain. What a great day to have freedom. What a great day to honor all Korean veterans for everything they've done for this country. The forgotten war is often referred to the Korean War, and it's way overdue that we take the time to recognize all that you here have done and your friends and brethren that went before you and gave the ultimate sacrifice. It is indeed an honor for me to stand here before you, and thank you for coming on this day as we dedicate this monument to all that you've done. And I thank you very much for your service. Before I call on the Adjutant General to speak to us, I'd like all Korean War veterans to please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much, and you will never be forgotten.
This is more than an opportunity to remember and pay tribute to the over 54,000 service members who lost their lives during the Korean War. It's an affirmation of the heroism, sacrifices, and sheer grit, determination, and bravery of thousands of Americans who fought in the Korean War. It's a chance to thank them, especially those here in the front row, for your service and stepping forward to be counted among those who readily serve their nation, shipping off to a faraway land to fight a noble cause, to put your lives on the line for this country, the fledgling South Korean nation at that time, and to make a world a more secure place for future generations.
Many Vermonters left their homes and families to risk their lives in the war. 92 of them lost their lives in the conflict, and many more bore combat wounds that would never fully heal. We have a duty to ensure the sacrifices of these service members are never forgotten. As chairman of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, I promise to do everything in my power to ensure that the brave men and women who have put their lives on the line to defend our country receive the highest quality benefits and that they undoubtedly earn and deserve. Sincerely, Bernard Sanders, United States Senator. Thank you very much.
Vermont still has 21 Korean War veterans missing in action. Comrades, you are not forgotten, and we will always continue the search for you until we find you.
So families and friends and guests, it's an honor to read this proclamation on behalf of Governor Shumlin. State of Vermont Executive Department Proclamation. Whereas July 27, 2013 marks the 60th anniversary of the Korean War Armistice, signed on July 27, 1953. And whereas since July 27, 1953, Korean War veterans have been known as the veterans of a forgotten war. Whereas Vermonters were called to service in Korean War and did their full duty, as Vermont service members have always done. And whereas recognition ceremonies are being conducted across the United States in honor of Korean War veterans on the 60th anniversary of the ceasefire. And whereas the Korean War veterans gave freedom to countless South Koreans, and where it is necessary to properly thank all Korean War veterans and their families for their service to our state and country. Now therefore, I, Peter Shumlin, Governor, do by here proclaim July 27th, August 3rd, 2013, Korean War Veterans Recognition Week in the state of Vermont. Given under my hand and the Great Seal of the state of Vermont on this 8th day of July, 2013, Peter Governor Shumlin. Thank you.
Okay, go. Vermonters did their full duty in honor of all who served in the Korean War, June 25th, 1950 through July 27th, 1953, and in memory of all killed or missing in action, erected and dedicated by Vermont veterans of foreign wars and its auxiliaries. That was what the memorial was going to be, but then you were so generous in your donations, we were able to put the one on the left here also, so we'll now unveil the left one. You are not forgotten. Your heroic deeds allowed millions of South Koreans to live in freedom. Freedom is never free. Thank you for your service to our nation. And you will notice the National Guard emblem is on the tall granite stone. Vermont National Guard was federalized and sent to Germany so that the 7th Division could leave from Germany to go fight in Korea. But you earned every bit of right to be on that stone. That's why your emblem is there.
I'm here at the VFW with Steve Leach. We're at the VFW in Manchester, post 6471. And we just had a beautiful dedication to the Korean War veterans. I'd like to ask you, Steve, what would you like to tell us about that?
Well, 60 years ago on July 27th, the armistice was signed putting the Korean War in a ceasefire. It has never ended. People forget that. It has never ended. I served on the DMZ in Korea in 1986 to 87, and while I was there and I walked around on top of some of the mountains in the southern part of the country, because obviously you can't go up on the north side, I contemplated what it must have been like to serve there in those cold winters of 50 to 53. And I had heard for many, many years, by the way, I'm a 20-year active U.S. Army soldier, that's why I was in Korea. I had heard for many years how the Korean War veterans are always being called the forgotten war veterans. When people talk about wars in this country, they always go from World War II to Vietnam. Therefore, the forgotten veterans. And I made up my mind I wanted to do everything in my power the rest of my life to make sure that Korean War veterans are never called forgotten or feel like they're forgotten. So 3 years ago, I came up with this idea. I petitioned and got the highway named during the 50th anniversary. And we did a dedication like we did today 10 years ago. And 3 years ago, I approached the state and said, can we get permission to put a memorial on this pull-off? I had to apply for a permit. They approved it. All the VFW posts in the state of Vermont and their auxiliaries, men and ladies, contributed the entire cost to buy this and have it put there. And today was at the end of 3 years in the making. 7 days after the fact, we dedicated the memorial, and it will be there hopefully forever.